But I come out here and I try to help people every day. And I failed to help people. And I own that.
Jim Cramer is one of the most famous, controversial, and most popular stock picking gurus on the face of the planet, as well as all over the internet and social media. And in today's video, we are going to discuss Jim Cramer's controversial history of bad stock picking, as well as whether it's actually fair or not. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So just to give a brief history of Jim Cramer graduated from Harvard University with a law degree, but he actually did not practice law. Instead, in 1984, he got a job with Goldman Sachs Group Inc. And shortly after, in 1987, Jim Cramer left to start his own hedge fund called Cramer Levy Partners. For 7 consecutive years, Cramer's firm beat the S&P 500. However, at the end of the 1990s, the money had gone bad. As a matter of fact, in August 1998, the firm lost 21% in just 1 month. And for the year, it went down by 16%. Now, in 2001, Cramer retired from the fund. And finally, in March of 2005, Cramer recorded the first episode of the now well-known show Mad Money on CNBC. And so what's so interesting about Jim Cramer and why he's so much made fun of on social media is mainly because of his history of terrible stock picking. I mean, for crying out loud, he did say that Lyft was a buy at $87. Jim Cramer also said that we like Coinbase to $400. That didn't happen. He also said that he liked Snapchat in the 50s. And just recently, he was actually seen crying on national television in the pre-market on CNBC television network because of his terrible call of saying that Facebook has bottomed and was a buy at around the $200 range.
Let me say this about this. I made a mistake here. I was wrong. I trusted this management team. That was ill-advised. Hubris here is extraordinary. And I apologize. Be some level of discipline, and I didn't get it. But David, what did I get wrong? I trusted them, not myself. For that I regret. Okay. I've been in this business for 40 years, and I did a bad job. I'm not proud.
You're not
proud.
Now, I do want to bring up a very important point regarding Jim Cramer and why I actually think that Jim Cramer is just as bad, if not worse, than many of the other fake gurus on YouTube who take advantage of retail investors. Now, first, let me go ahead and defend him a little bit. In the past, I would have been a lot more defensive on Jim Cramer and his bad stock picking. And the reason why is because the main reason why I believe that he's on CNBC in the first place is because he is an entertaining, charismatic, funny, and interesting guy to watch on television. And I think it's important for people to understand that CNBC is primarily about entertainment. It's actually not about giving good stock advice or good information or helping anybody make money off of stock picks. As a matter of fact, for crying out loud, Wall Street doesn't even go to CNBC for their news. Wall Street actually pays for the Bloomberg terminal, which costs thousands of dollars per year to get. And that's mostly where Wall Street gets their financial news from, and stock news is mainly from Bloomberg. Now, I think it's important to understand that most of the people who watch CNBC are retail investors, and they're even mostly, I could argue, are gamblers and not actual real investors. Now, the reason why I say this is because most successful small investors are buy and hold investors. So even if Jim Cramer gets a stock pick wrong temporarily, it really doesn't matter in the long term if you plan to hold a stock for the next 5 to 10 to 20 years. Now, many people purchase index funds in order to minimize taxes and investing expenses, and professional investors may tune into Cramer for industry gossip or different things like that. I would actually argue that most of the people who watch CNBC are actually more so gamblers than actual viewers. And we do know that most of the people who actually rely on CNBC for their financial news are mostly retail investors because, as I've said, most of the people on Wall Street, at least, who look for financial news do not get it from CNBC. CNBC is looked upon on Wall Street as just a form of entertainment. It's just something to watch when you're bored. Now, here's the part where I begin to say that I do put Jim Cramer at fault. Although CNBC is mostly entertaining, and you should never take the words of actual stock advice from somebody on a freaking cable television network, I do have to get on Jim Cramer because he has this thing called the CNBC Investing Club, where he does charge about $200 to $300 per year for people to get access to Jim Cramer's exclusive stock picks. And one thing we do know is I've been following closely his CNBC Investing Club, travel, trust, whatever portfolio, and it has not been doing very well at all. As a matter of fact, I could argue that that portfolio portfolio has significantly underperformed the market and hasn't done very well. And that is where I start to say that Jim Cramer is kind of a grifter. Now, if you're just giving stock picks on cable television, that's not as bad as actually making money off getting people to believe that you actually know what you're talking about when it comes to stocks, where when we actually look at your track record, the track record shows that not only do you know nothing about stocks, you are one of the worst stock pickers in modern day history as it relates to the stock market because of some of the terrible calls that you have made. It's kind of incredible because it really makes me think like clearly this guy does not take valuation into effect or even consider valuation when he's buying a stock. For him to say that Coinbase is a buy at $400 or he likes it to go to $400, whichever one he said. So that's the whole crazy thing with Jim Cramer. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. And so anyway, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.